In a beginning scene they show us a vast ocean with clear blue waters. The water looks so clear as we can see a tail of a monster under the water layer. Kangwo sees this monster's tail, so he shouts to tell others about the coming beast. Kangwo is standing in water with great balance while he sees the rising level of water in front of him. He informs others that the monster is very close to them. Kangwo is ready to fight the monster, and suddenly a huge scorpion-like creature rises from the water. We know this monster very well, it's Elcuro. It powerfully splashes the water all around while rising up. Its blue color and only red giant eye gives it a scary look. It possibly have poison in its body, as its tail was like a scorpion's tail, and it has weird tentacles too. It roars with a great sound and flies upon the ocean with its giant dragon-like wings. Elcuro gives a bombastic entry. It flies upon their heads and suddenly attacks them with red poisonous needles. Kangwo shouts to inform others about this poison needle attack. He calls Achinda for help as needles were approaching towards them, and Hinda uses her skills to create a shield around them. It will protect them from poisonous needles. Chinda tries hard to hold the shield as long as possible when Kangwoo asks her to hold for some more time. While Chinda is holding the shield, Kangwoo calls Hyunmo and Hwaeun. When they show their attention, Kangwo holds them and uses his power of sky to fly on. We see them holding many chains in their hands. Kangwoo asks them to hold on tight as they are about to land on Elcurio. When they reach upon Elcurio, they jump down with heavy chains. They are ready to tie the monster with chains. They land on Elcurio and poke the chain hooks into its body. Hwaeun says that Elcuro is ridiculously slippery. She tries hard to maintain balance. Kangwoo provides them some extra chains and gives them instructions. He asks Hwaeun to handle left side and Hyunmo to the right side. Kangwoo shouts that they have to finish the monster before it dives back into the water. Elcurio roars in anger and pain as they pokes the heavy chain anchors in his body. They try hard to tie Elcurio, but it was a difficult task. Its skin was quite slippery. Kangwoo notices that Elcurio is preparing to run, so he shouts to inform others. They say they should hold on strong as the monster is thinking to run. Kangwoo says that Elcurio is trying to dive deep underwater, but he needs to stop it. He asks his partners to tie Elcurio tightly and uses his power of sky to jump. He jumps into the water, and right at the moment when Elcurio tries to dive into the water, Kangwoo strikes it from under the water with power of 1000 and power of destruction. His powerful punch throws the monster up in the air and makes it injured. But Kangwoo looks unsatisfied as he thinks that his strike power was weakened since he launched it from underwater. He aims to injure Elcurio more significantly. He once again uses his power of sky to fly. He enters into the Elcurio's body direct from its skin. Elcurio roars loudly. It produces a great spark to give him a shock. Hwaeun and Hyunmo feels that shock. They both decide to get off as all the chains were tied perfectly. They jump off from the monster thinking that Elcurio can prevent himself better than anyone. When Achinda, who is standing in the water, she produces a powerful protection shield for Kangwoo. Inside the Elcurio we see a green bubble around Kangwoo. He realizes that she must be Achinda who did this. Kangwoo says thank you to her in his heart that she produces a barrier from this far. He strikes hardly Elcurio from inside, causing it severe injuries and death. When he jumps on land, he sees Cha Yeonju. He says that they have already killed the monster. She seems to be happy with that. She starts pulling Elcurio with tied chains. She asks everyone to pull it fast and get moving. Cha Yeonju appears on screen, and we see her grinding her teeth in excitement as she is enjoying the process of pulling a huge monster. Her stone giants are trying hard to pull Elcurio with tied chains, but it seems like she is not happy with her pet's performance as she continues to torture them and forces them to increase their speed. We see Kangwoo is also pulling the dead Elcurio with chains. He is using both power of 1000 and the iron wall, but still he feels so much pressure. It becomes a tough task for them to pull out a dead monster from the water. While Kangwoo is trying hard, he notices the weakening of chains, so he thinks that he must prevent the chains from falling out no matter what. Kangwoo gets exhausted, but he relaxes himself by saying that he needs to pull a little more longer. All of a sudden we see Elcurio producing a noisy roar under the water. Its only eye is open now, that means it's still alive. It pulls back the chains which are holding itself tightly. It causes giant stones to coggle at once. Kangwoo realizes too that the monster is not dead yet, and now it's fighting back to break the chains. Suddenly we see Elcurio opens poison needle fire at Kangwoo and stone rocks. Achinda once again protects Kangwoo by producing a protective shield around him. She is like a little sister to Kangwoo, that's why her love for Kangwoo is incredible. Stone Giants faces the poison needle attack, but it doesn't cause any harm to them. Kangwoo looks back and realizes that he had underestimated the power of Elcurio. He thinks that the monster is much more stronger than he thought, and if it continues to attack and pull the chains at this rate, the stone giants will fall first. He must do something to weaken El Curio. He grinds his teeth and calls Cha Yeonju, who is riding on stone giants. He asks her to bring out her thrones. She shouts back and calls him insane, but Kangwoo ignores her and repeats his request. Cha Yeonju shakes her head and moves her wrists so that thrones can appear. We see long red bloodthirsty thrones emerges out from her wrists. These thrones covers Kangwoo to hold him. This time we realize that these thrones can petrify the one to whom they touch. Kangwoo thinks it is hard to endure all attacks with one unique item, but as long as he can weaken the monster. Bloodthirsty thrones hold the entire El Curio and make it petrified. Kangwoo becomes happy to see that worked. Cha Yeonju smiles at stone giants to see them not harmed, as their special ability is a tough skin, which caused them 0 to no damage from strikes at all. When Cha Yeonju looks happy to see El Curio helpless in front of her thrones, it once again roars and rises up from the water. Kangwoo takes a deep breath to see it alive. Achinda asks him is he okay, to which he replies that it's not safe yet. Suddenly El Curio produces radioactive rays to attack, but Hyunmo and Hwaeun saves her. They are also shocked to see it attacking once again with all its power. Kangwoo becomes angry and now he decides to finish the monster. He requests Achinda to save stone giants with her magic, as they remain to be able to fight back even if they are tired. Kangwoo shouts at Cha Yeonju and asks her to stop bullying stone giants and join them. He further orders Hyunmo and Hayeon to fight the El Curio offshore. They both rush to take care of the monster. They strike El Curio one after another, but it seems to be useless when it spears all its chains. Kangwoo realizes that it's not exactly an easy battle just because the monster is out of water. It's typical of a boss monster, and in that case he needs something else. His demonic powers. We see a glimpse of hell and Kangwoo awakens his demonic energy in special effect Karakin's Wrath. He simply turns into a demon by acquiring special skills. We see demonic energy surrounds Kangwoo and his eyes turn into blue ones. Apparently now he looks like a demon who has eagerly trying to attack the monster El Curio. He casts a powerful spell and attacks El Curio with his giant sword. Cha Yeonju gives him a strange look. She was not expecting the things to happen like this. Hyunmo and Hayeon are also ready to face the circumstances as they stand right behind Kangwoo. He attacks the monster with all of his power and demonic energy. We see dense blue clouds appear in large quantities. They surround both Kangwoo and El Curio, as we have to wait till another scene to see the results. When new scene arrived, we see Kangwoo standing in front of fire flames which are touching the sky. Kangwoo looks exhausted. Once again he has killed his enemy. But Kangwoo doesn't look happy. He observes his hands and thinks that this was not much power when he ruled over hell. But at Earth he faces difficulties and there is a long way to go for him. He clenches his fist in anger and shouts he needs more strength. His partners are looking at him. Hyunmo says that how he did that is wasn't expecting him to be that strong. Cha Yeonju asks him that if he could do that, why he didn't do that before. Kangwoo replies that it was his first time trying. He shows his hands to Cha Yeonju, which were trembling. He says that it wasn't an easy technique to use, that's why his hands are trembling. Yeonju smiles and says that she had won if they fought right now. Kangwoo smiles back at her and says that why she always speaks about fighting. Does she have it in her blood? When they are still talking to each other, Achinda arrives there. She informs Kangwoo that she had eliminated the giant stones. Achinda hugs Kangwoo to see him safe. Yeonju asks him that is the hunt over. This question gives a little shock to Kangwoo. He notices that he didn't see a message which confirmed that El Curio is dead. When they realize that their hunt is not completed, everyone starts to take their position once again. Kangwoo hides Achinda behind him, as they have to begin a new fight. Hayeon and Hyunmo check their window for message confirmation, but it still hasn't appeared. Kangwoo becomes stressed and he starts to question his skills. He thinks that at first when he created this effect in hell he eliminated the demons from 7th hell in instance. Now he is the same guy who uses the same thing to kill an earth monster, but how could a non-demonic monster survive the attack? Why it didn't die? When they are still in shock, we see some movement behind them. A giant red eye opens and El Curio wakes up one more time. A bunch of giant red tentacles starts emerging out from the monster. Kangwoo and his friends become shocked to see El Curio turning into a demon, as we see dense smog of demonic energy surrounds them. When they see such a horrific demon is near to attack them, they found no other way except running. But Yeonju has some other plans. She quickly throws her bloodthirsty chains onto El Curio and asks her friends to pull the chains from other hand. They all hold the chains tightly to support Yeonju. Kangwoo thinks he had already used all 3 authorities and the Karakin rage is over now, so he couldn't have his demon energy left. He keeps thinking to attack the demon he didn't find answer. All of a sudden we see a big white bird appears. Its golden eyes and shiny big claws are making it incredible. Yeonju, who is holding El Curio with her chains, asks Kangwoo, is it a mob or something else? Kangwoo smiles and says it is Achinda, the little kid. Achinda attacks the demon and destroys its all tentacles. She kills the monster in no time. When she finishes it, she laughs with excitement and asks Kangwoo about how did she perform. A notification window appears with a message that she have successfully killed the S-rank boss monster El Cuero. Kangwoo notices that his experience restrictions aren't lifted yet, but they were happy to finish El Cuero. Kangwoo and his friends praises Achinda for her remarkable performance. Yeonju asks Kangwoo that what was those tentacles that came out at the last moment. Are they from El Cuero's trait? Kangwoo replies that he is not sure, he never saw something like this before. Kangwoo climbs on El Cuero's tentacles and says that he saw this before and it's not a trait. Yeonju asks that was it the influence of demonic energy. They begin to search for their answer. Kangwoo opens the point from where the tentacles started to grow. Kangwoo says that there must be something hidden in this place. When he searches for it, he says that he found it. We see a red little flower-like jewel in his hand. When Kangwoo shows them the jewel, Yeonju asks that is it a gemstone. Kangwoo expresses his thoughts that it must be the reason for El Cuero's demonic energy. He says that this jewel seems to be the demonic energy version of a demonic stone, but magic stones form naturally, and this stone seems to be like artificially prepared, as someone has created this intentionally. Yeonju couldn't understand, so Kangwoo shows her the stone and says, look at this stone, it looks too artificial to be called a magic stone. He shows them the area where they found gemstone. It was in the arm reach, not deep inside the body, which means someone buried this inside El Cuero. Hyunmo says that in her thoughts the real culprits are demonic orders. Kangwoo says that he is not sure about it, but he allows her to investigate demonic order from Pohang. Kangwoo thinks that demonic order are so clever as they managed to create such a pure lump of demonic energy. Yeonju asks Kangwoo to let her take a photo of gemstone. She wants to investigate too, but suddenly we see gemstone disappears and they all feel power of thunder and lightning. They all feel a jerk and at once they think that the monster is still alive, but later on they became calmed down. Kangwoo opens his fist to show gemstone, but there was nothing. The stone was disappeared magically. Kangwoo feels a little discomfort. Suddenly a message window appears with a notification that Kangwoo has absorbed the demonic crystal with the power of gluttony, and his demonic energy stats has increases by 3. Kangwoo becomes shocked to know his stats. In a new scene they show us a tall building of Hwarang Corps headquarters. They receive pretty much money as reward. They tells Kangwoo and his friends that they need to find the gemstone before it touches anyone's hand. Kangwoo clears his throat as because of him they have to work hard. Hwan has something to say. She informs them that she heard a news about a special kind of weapon they are going to make by using body parts of El Cuero. They could create a sword out of the refined tailbone. This sword can either increase strength or dexterity. Yeonju says to Hwan that she is the best one to use that sword, but Hwan smiles and says that awakening conditions are too complicated. Apparently a player with inner Kai will be able to use it. Yeonju asks that special warriors have inner Kai, but they are mainly found in China. Hwan says that she is right, it must be difficult to find a warrior player in Korea. Yeonju feels disappointed. Suddenly a thought comes in Kangwoo's mind that he knows a player. We see flashback from his memories where he was with his team member walking in Labyrinth Dungeon, where a special kind of minotaur attacked them. It was a hard task for every one of them to fight with that giant minotaur. They all fought together and finally Kangwoo used Cloud Dragon Annihilation Strike to kill the minotaur. We see a dead minotaur laying on the floor of dungeon where Kangwoo and his team members were observing its body. They found bulging veins all over its body. They have no idea what was that, but Kangwoo was looking at the dead minotaur silently. In a new scene we again see the building of Hwarang Corps headquarters, where Hwan welcomes him and gives him the equipment made from El Cuero's body. Hwan says that she wishes she could use this weapon when she sees Kangwoo is holding the weapon with happiness. Kangwoo asks her that how it is possible to make such weapon in just 2 weeks. She says they already had ingredients, so it didn't take long time to create the weapon. When Kangwoo asks about the cost, she replies that both of them are already working great, and it will be embarrassing for them to hold their support for Kangwoo. Kangwoo chuckles as he enjoyed her statement. Kangwoo says that he must consume all of the demon's energy. When Kangwoo was about to leave, Hyeon says one more thing. She asks him to be informal with her as he speaks very comfortably with Yeonju. She wants the same informality with him. Kangwoo gets confused, so he tries to distract her by asking her about the research. She informs him that they haven't yielded any results, but cops are working hard. Kangwoo thinks that it must be impossible for demonic order to plant demon crystal in just El Cuero. We see a deep layer of tension on his face. Scene changes and we see a meeting room of demonic order. The leader asks the servants about the defeat of El Curio. All the servants are shivering due to fear and keeps their head bowed down while answering leader's question. One informs the leader that they are trying hard to figure out the matter. They only found blood and traces of battle till now. Leader asks about the recovery of Demon Crystal and other monsters too. Servants had no answers as they were unable to find the lost Demon Crystal, but they tries to calm down the leader by saying they are continuously checking on monsters and they are all performing good. The leader slams his hand on table. He couldn't believe that they know his plan and now they are hunting on them. He asks his servants that now they should use the other method, but one servant advises him not to use that method as its liability risks are greater. Other leader seems to be in support of using that method. The demon leader asks them to plant demon crystals inside every monster. When he finishes his order, he asks who defeated El Curio. The servant replies that Cha Yonju is the one who killed the monster. A bright beam appears in leader's eye as he orders to prepare shadows. He wants Cha Yonju to face the circumstances now. But his servants advise him that Cha Yonju is strong. They decide to make Kangwoo their hostage and as a trap for Cha Yonju. They consider Kangwoo as an arrogant, useless guy who always interrupt in their matters. Scene changes and we see Kangwoo meeting with their old friends. They all become glad to see him. Kangwoo congrats them for being on B-Gate. While they were talking, a shy friend of Kangwoo, named Sehun, asks him that what brings him here without any notice. Kangwoo says that he brings a gift for Sehun. Kangwoo gives his legendary El Curio blade to shock Sehun. Everyone was shocked to see that Kangwoo gave such a precious gift to Sehun. Sehun tries to express his feelings, but he looks too happy to receive the gift. Their other friends congrats Sehun. Sehun feels embarrassed when he remembers that when he met first time with Kangwoo he felt great resistance, but now the things are different. He looks towards Kangwoo and says that he is the real protector of the world. Kangwoo keeps hearing him quietly. Sehun holds his hand, says to Kangwoo that he will only live to serve him from now. Kangwoo stops him from being emotional. Sehun takes out something from his packet and says that he has something for Kangwoo too. It was a red demonic crystal which he found inside a monster's corpse. Kangwoo becomes amazed to see that. He grabs Sehun's hand and makes a promise that they will stay together until the end. Kangwoo asks him where did he find this crystal. Sehun informs him that once when we was hunting in B-Gate he feels some strange sensation similar to sensation that he felt when he met Kangwoo for the first time. He chases the sensation and found this crystal by killing a giant strange-looking minotaur. Kangwoo thinks that possibly he could sense demonic energy, so he asks him that if he ever noticed that sensation around Achinda. Sehun says he didn't feel anything though. In the next scene we see a beautiful evening where Seola and Kangwoo are with each other. She asks him that tomorrow when he will go for hunt with Sehun, she and rest of the party can come with him. She ensures that they will help him in any case and they can level up too. Kangwoo refuses as he is going to hunt more dangerous monsters than ever and she should not go with them. As they are still in conversion, people from demonic order arrive there. They are here to kidnap Kangwoo. When Kangwoo questions them about their arrival, they say they have no obligations to answer him. Kangwoo smiles and informs that now he have to kill all of them painlessly. A demonic kidnapper takes out a chain and confirms that Kangwoo is really an arrogant man. Kangwoo quickly grabs Seola and asks her to get away as far as possible. She says she wants to help, but Kangwoo refuses, and then suddenly he notices that Seola can buff his inherent stat. She feels a shock, and at that moment the kidnappers start to approaching him. They shout that they won't let him escape. Kangwoo smiles because he was not even thinking about escape. Kidnappers were mature and trained. They continue attacks Kangwoo to tie him with chains, but Kangwoo evades every time. Finally, he uses a single strike of power shockwave to break all their chains. Kidnappers become astonished. They can't even believe their eyes. One says that they need to inform their cardinal about his power immediately, but Kangwoo was not in mood to let them run. He catches them from behind and removes the mask of one kidnapper. He wants a deep conversion with them, that why they want him. Kidnapper couldn't reply even when Kangwoo gives a shock of dread. He gets no answers, so finally he sends some good wishes to Cardinal and rest. We see an explosion there. Scene changes and we see Kangwoo observing the crystal that was given to him by Sehun. He was conscious to know the similarity between him and that monster which was felt by Sehun. He says to Sehun that he is the one who can find demonic crystals by sensing them, so they need to work together. In the coming scenes we see the meeting room of demonic society. A servant who is also called Shadow is sitting in front of the Cardinal. His knees are bended and he seems to be terrified. He informs the Cardinal that all shadows who were sent to kidnap Kangwoo are now dead. Cardinal asks him about Crack's fragment and he replies that he had recovered 30% of them. Cardinal couldn't understand that Cha Yeonju can be this strong who kills his most of the good troops. When he dismisses, he takes a deep breath and tries to relax himself. He thinks that all the crystals are safe and no one can reach them, but on the other hand, Kangwoo is ready to snatch all crystals from those monsters. He looks excited and energetic and feels that time is on his side. Everything is going according to the plan. In another scene, we see Seala calls Kangwoo, who looks in a hurry to reach somewhere. She asks himself is he okay or not, but Kangwoo ignores her and make a phone call to Sehun. He says to Sehun that they have to work hard to find demonic crystals. When Seala hears that, she looks upset. Kangwoo turns towards her and says that she must stay out of it as she already saw what demonic order did earlier. Seala gets emotional and says that she wants to repay him for all of the things he have done for her. She promises him that she will become more stronger, and when he will see her next time will find a different Seala. In another scene, they show us the time passes quickly and it's 10 days later from now. Kangwoo has 3 crystals in his hand and Sehun is with him. They both look extremely happy as things are going in their favor. Kangwoo asks Sehun for a ride and he asks Kangwoo to drop him at hospital. He wants to see his mother. When Kangwoo reaches to the home, he found Achinda there. He gives her ice cream. Later on, we see him thinking about demonic order as if they were behind him. He had probably received a call from Hwaein or Cha Yeonju. He was still thinking when a call from Hwaein appears on his phone. She informs him that they have noticed some suspicious activities at the S-rank gate of harbor. According to their knowledge, the demonic order is preparing for a summon. She informs him that Yeonju and Red Rose are already on their way. She asks Kangwoo to reach on time. When Kangwoo finishes the call, he smiles at Achinda as she knows what to do. Kangwoo asks her to ride to the harbor and Achinda turns into a big white flying creature in no time. Kangwoo sits on the bird carefully and uses mirroring skill to hide both of them. This skill makes them invisible. When they found a safe spot, they get off. But the point was a little far from the gate. He asks Achinda to become human again. Suddenly he sees a person who suddenly appears there. Kangwoo becomes shocked to realize that he was using stealth power to become invisible. He is Onuri's guild master Cha Minhyuk. Kangwoo notices a pistol in his pocket. Minhyuk informs him that he was following a shadow when he reaches here. Minhyuk observes Kangwoo and says that he must be Yeonju's someone, but Kangwoo didn't let him complete his sentence. He asks him to be quiet. Minhyuk resists to speak, but suddenly Kangwoo shifts into his demonic character and asks him to be stopped completely. Kangwoo thinks that having a crystal does not make him a member of demonic order, but it is a matter of concern that a guild master is looting around here. They both take out their bladed and strike each other. Minhyuk gets a harder strike and he becomes shocked to notice Kangwoo's power. Kangwoo realizes that he is so much weak that he couldn't be a member of demonic order. Kangwoo asks him to show his identity, and the guild master becomes angry by hearing that. He grabs his blade and tries to attack Kangwoo with sonic speed without realizing that what is going to happen with him now. Kangwoo will surely take care of this bandit. Another scene begins and we see Kangwoo is offering a coffee to Minhyuk. He looks destroyed. They are at a coffee shop and we see little Achinda there too. Kangwoo asks Minhyuk to speak about him, so he starts telling him. He days that they are after the demonic order. He confirms that he is bandit and he knows about the demonic order long before them. He and his friends decided to follow the demonic order without informing government so they can prove bandits are not useless. Kangwoo says that he must do whatever he wants and says good luck to him. When Kangwoo and Achinda was about to leave, Minhyuk asks him why he is doing all this, even he is the strongest warrior in Korea. Kangwoo smiles back at him and says that he doesn't need any reasons. He leaves while thinking that Minhyuk's pattern to find information is too disorganized. In the coming scene, we see Cardinal is practicing some rituals. There is a star drawn on ground with blood stains all over it and shadows are sitting next to it. Cardinal asks them that they must be ready for sacrifices as they couldn't afford any failure. Cardinal takes off his mask and starts the ritual. He picks some of the blood from ground and says that it is insufficient. He calls one of them and when he gets scared, Cardinal shouts that they are responsible for insufficient blood. In the coming scenes, we see all the shadows are dead and the ground seems to be full of blood. The Cardinal smiles and says glory to the demonic order as he was only a live man there. In a new scene, we see Cardinal is smiling and saying that this much blood will be enough for the ritual. He then starts casting his spells. We see the whole environment turns red and foggy. Scene disappears and in the another one we see Cha Yeonju and Hwaein. They meet with Kangwoo and says that now they can enter into the B gate. Hwaein asks him that what is the situation of inside the gate. Kangwoo informs her that there are so many caves behind the gate and shadows are using them to hide. Suddenly Kangwoo feels very strong feeling of negative energy. Achinda grabs his shirt from behind and asks him to notice the smell of blood which is emerging out from the gate. Inside the gate we see a terrible scene where Cardinal is succeeded to call the evil monster who is a demon of the 7 hells. The beast asks him that why did he summon him. Cardinal requests him for immortality so that he can kill every mortal and pledge his life to serve the demons. At that moment we see a guild member is hiding behind wall. He was listening to them quietly. He calls the commander immediately inside the gate. When commander receives the call, Kangwoo decides not to wait more and make move on as the demonic order have no plan to hide the blood scent anymore. Inside the gate few guild members see the evil demon to whom Cardinal was in conversation. The monster laughs at them and says that they are not bad for slaughter. He says that he loves battles. On the other hand, Cardinal is in deep excitement that by today's summon he will get so much power, and soon the whole world will be under the feet of demonic order. Kangwoo and others enter inside the cave and the beast notices them. He asks them that who thinks himself stronger come in front. Kangwoo comes forward with confidence. The beast introduces himself as Oriax, the demon of the 7 kingdom. Kangwoo feels a little ashamed that once he ruled the 9 hells and now he has to prove himself as a demon. When Kangwoo introduces himself to Oriax, he shouts in fear and says that how is that guy here? We can clearly see fear on his face. Kangwoo turns back to his partners and says happily that he is the only demon who recognized him. Oriax quickly turns back and asks to cancel the summon as he couldn't stay here anymore. Oriax says that he doesn't want to face Kangwoo and now is returning to hell. Cardinal shouts that returning back is impossible but he can kill all these mortals. Oriax continues to shout that Cardinal should cancel the summon as he doesn't know who Kangwoo is. When Kangwoo and the rest see them fighting, Kangwoo decides to take the advantage. He calls Oriax and gives him command to answer. Then he questions him that what bring the Demon King here. He further says that as Oriax arrives suddenly he destroyed Kangwoo's plans. King Demon makes apology and Kangwoo feels happy to make him fool. He says to Oriax that he is giving him a chance. If he follows Kangwoo's command he will count him in his family. When Demon hears that, he becomes extremely happy to be the family of the King of Hell who defeated all princes of 9 hells. Kangwoo commands him to fight with his partner without any weapons. Yeonju and Hwaewon were unable to understand what was happening but they attack the demon. Oriax tries to fight back but without weapon he was a failure. He keeps fighting to impress the Demon King Kangwoo as he will shower his mercy on him. But unfortunately Oriax was wrong. Kangwoo smiles at him and thinks the one who gets scammed is the one who is at fault. Hwaewon and Yeonji successfully kills the demon Oriax and we see their stats increasing rapidly. In another scene where Cardinal is ready to start his ritual feels defeated to see Kangwoo doing his best. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts in the comments below.